This video is to introduce you to the Midterm Project. This turned out to be a pretty exciting project. What we ended up getting was from Micah Bauer from the Visual and Graphic Art Design Department here at Weber State, created a design document for a web page. Now here is the home page, the main one, and it shows you what that home page is going to look like. And the really cool part about this is these are really how designers would design it. And now we get to take it and make it into an actual web page. And so this is just a PDF. And our other document is just an image, PNG. But notice the things that are in here and available. And we're going to take that and we want to be able to make it a web page. So this is just a web page of one of the secondary pages, and that's what we need to do is turn this design into an actual web page. So what's available in the PDF is first an image of the main page, and then it shows it again. Now this is exactly the same main page, but here it's showing you what that menu is supposed to look like, where it has the drop-down options. So this drop-down menu concept is shown on that, and that's the only thing that's different about the second one. But then if you keep scrolling, here he has a table of all the different colors that have been used in the web page and what their hex numbers are. He has a list of the 4 different fonts that are used in the web page. And then he has a list of all these different versions of those fonts, where he's listed the name of the font, the size, the font size. Here he's listed the line height and the color. And so he's given us all these different examples of elements. Now these comments, you won't have these comments on yours. These comments are ones that I added as I named each of these different styles. I made a class for each of these different styles, and you'll get to do that. I put a comment by him about what I called them. And so those are added on my version. They won't be on yours. The other design document that he gave us was this, of all the different pages. And I'm going to zoom in on this and scroll down. This is just an image file, which makes it not as clear. But this document is also available. And by the way, this was just, these gray ones just are an artifact of having printed this off of a website where he had it, or downloading it the way he had delivered it originally. This is much easier to see in Zeppelin. So there's a whole video on how to use this in Zeppelin, but here's the document in Zeppelin, and it's actually quite a bit more clear in here. And what this shows us is what the secondary pages are going to look like. And here's the menu. Notice that the banner section is a little bit different, where it has this green bar at the top, it has a breadcrumb menu, and then the image is different. And in fact, the image is different on every single page. So that's one of the things that changes page by page. Okay, as we scroll down through this, it has this heading for what all the secondary page is going to have. And then it's followed by the content for all the different secondary images. So this is not content for one page, this is content for all of the pages. So you're going to have to be able to separate out and put the right content on the right page. And then at the bottom is the footer that will be on all the pages. And the last document is this. And in Zeppelin on the homepage, it is just the homepage. It doesn't have a list, the second page with the drop-down menu, and it doesn't have all the list of all the fonts and stuff. The other document that we have is the images for each of the different secondary pages. And so it shows the background, the image, and the words that are going to be on each of the secondary pages. And that's taking a while to load. And you'll see how to use Zeppelin in another video. All right, this project then that we're going to do, it originally was due on Friday, but this turned out to be, I thought it would work better for you and be easier if I spread it out and made it last a little bit longer. So we're going to do it in 4 parts. and they each have their very own due dates. Part one is to set up all those styles that he has listed. So to make a class for each of those different ones, first you need to create the fonts and install them. I've supplied the font files for you. And so you just need to put in the CSS, the new font families, create those, and then create all those styles that are listed there and become familiar with the project. Part two is to create the common parts, that navigation, the banner, and the footer that's going to be common on all those secondary pages. And that will help us when we get that. I think part two is the biggest part. So I think that's the one that's going to take the longest time. And once you've done part two, you've figured out how to select an item. You've done a lot of work in how to set styles and change things. And that puts you in a pretty good place to move forward and do part three and part four. Part three should go quickly. You're going to have to make some changes to the common parts because there's some things on the main page that are a little bit different. And then fill in the content. But that's one page in that. And so you should be able to put that together pretty quickly. And in fact, I would recommend that you go ahead and get that done early so you can head out for spring break. And then spring break is not counted. All the days from Sunday through Sunday of spring break are not counted towards the project days. That really is a break, and I hope that you enjoy it and find something different to do than school. And then come back and we'll finish up those secondary pages. And there's 9 of them, so it'll take a little while to put together that content, and some have structured a little bit different. There's one that has a collapsible content, which is really cool. That's the events page. So that'll be kind of fun to be able to get some variety there. And others are just straightforward, just put the content in. So that's the outlay of the project. I'm going to do a couple of things different. We have these due dates, but I'm leaving all of the parts open clear till the very end, 24 hours past this last due date. And the initial, if you're late by 1 day, then it's the standard 5-point deduction. So if you get this turned, if you have a problem on Tuesday night, you don't get this turned in until Wednesday, then there would be a 5-point deduction on that. But then it stays open, and you can continue to turn it in, but the way that it'll work is that you'll lose an additional 10 points every day late it is. So this is really in industry. If you have a deadline and you don't meet your deadline, there are real consequences for not meeting the deadlines. And that's how this is set up here. So, but you can continue to turn it in. You actually need all the parts. There's no skipping and saying, well, I just want to do these secondary pages without doing these. So you have to really do the whole thing. It really is a complete midterm project, just broken into 4 parts. What else is different about this than normal? In each of the parts, I've given you a few extra points. Gives you a little bit of slush. If you just can't quite get a couple of things, then you can just say, I can't get those 2 points. That'll be fine. And I've given you, 9 to 15 points to spare. You can use those if you come across something difficult that you're not able to solve, or they can apply to previous homework to make up for points for that. So anyway, there's a few extra points in there for that. Should be a really interesting project. Really give you some experience in how do you go from a design document, all right, where the designer's giving you this and then put it to code. And you'll get a real feel for what it takes to be able to do that.